Alright, so here is the Armattan rooster. So I'm going to go through the parts that I used real quick. I don't have the top plate on here. So I went with the ZMX. What are these? The Fin X30s? Yeah, 2600 kV. Really nice motors. The only issue that I had or ran into was when I went to screw down the motor, it all of a sudden didn't want to turn, and the first thing I thought was that it was getting jammed up in here, which is usually the issue that I get. But it actually wasn't. It was this part right here. The heat shrink and the wires were rubbing up against the bell. So I just pushed down on it real hard, and it stays down like that now. So they spin just fine now. So one thing to keep in mind, or if you run into that problem, that's the answer. If you weren't smart enough to figure that out. For the camera, I'm using the Foxeer Predator. This camera is actually really nice. I didn't know how good it was going to be until I saw it, and it's amazing. The picture just looks so bright and clear. It's just awesome. And it fits in here real nice. This is made for a full-size camera, but of course the Predator comes with that little bracket right there that just goes around the outside of the camera. You screw it down, and then you can screw into that. Everything fits in here just nice and solid and tight. It's really nice. I still need to put the other 2 screws in here to keep it from going up and down, but yeah. And you can get tons of angle too. I mean, look at that. That's quite an angle right there. I mean, to be straight, you're flying like that. Awesome. And the lowest angle, probably a 25 to 30 degree is the lowest, which is good, you know, pretty good for most people. Probably not for a beginner. The ESCs, these are the TBS 25 amp bulletproof ESCs. Pretty nice ESCs. They come naked, so they don't have no wires attached to them, which I personally love because then I can solder up all the wires myself, and I know what every single solder joint looks like and know that it's not going to fail if you're good at soldering. Looks pretty decent. Flight controller is the DYS F4 Pro. I really love this upgraded version they did. So to begin with, I really loved the, what was it? It was just called the F4 V2, which looks quite a bit different than this one, but this is the newer one, and it's just awesome. I don't know what they changed or updated. I just like it a lot better for some reason. I don't know. Just the way that the wire placement and everything is just much better. The old one, the wires were just so close to each other, it was ridiculous. And they were like opposites. Like, you know how some flight controllers that have the built-in PDB, they'll put like the grounds next to the grounds and the positive next to the positives, but it wasn't like that on the other one. And they were so close to each other, you could really mess up really easily if you weren't good at soldering. So this one's much better. It's laid out a lot better. Let's see what else. So the VTX is the Tramp, the USA version, so it's a 600 milliwatt. I haven't really dug too deep into the Tramp. I've never personally owned one myself. This is actually my first time even getting one. I plugged it in and fired it up, and it had video right away, so I don't know exactly how you're supposed to set. I mean, I got the white wire running to the TX, so obviously, you know, I'm gonna set it up for the Tramp in the ports tab, but I'm not sure if that's the only way that you can change channels is through your goggles or Lewis grip, but I'll have to look more into that. I have no idea what this thing is. It says it's the race programmer. I don't know if that's like a Bluetooth or what, but I'll be checking that out. It's pretty awesome. And they're on sale right now for $29.99, which is a great deal. Got the Fox Ear Pagoda. It's a wonderful antenna. The way that they have this VTX set up back here is pretty awesome. It's real intricate. I mean, you got these two pieces that you put straight up and down. Then you got this carbon piece that screws to it. Then you put the VTX bulkhead through there. You got these little plastic pieces that you stick in there too. When it all goes together, it's just really nice. It's so solid in there. That thing's not going anywhere. It's pretty awesome. This whole frame is awesome. I mean, it went together so well, so easily. I've seen a lot of people saying that there's a million pieces and it's the hardest frame to put together. This thing went together so easy. It was a piece of cake. I mean, once you get the these little pieces right here in, they call this the top plate, but it's actually just a little tiny piece that holds the top of the arms in place, basically. But once you get those in, what I did is I just took a little file and just kind of filed it out a tiny bit, just a tiny bit. Otherwise, it's just a pain in the ass to get those in. What I like to do is I take a screw and stick it through the other side, and then just screw and screw and screw until it pulls itself into the carbon. But if you don't file it a little bit, you're going to have some trouble, and you're probably going to end up getting a screw stuck in there and strip it out and shit, which would not be good. But once you get those 4 in that piece, and there's 2 more in the front piece, then it's just a piece of cake to put together. The front part all went together real nice. Everything's nice and snug and tight. I heard about that the arms move, but I tested it myself, and I had to push almost as hard as I could. See, watch. Okay, I was pushing super hard, and it moved about 1 millimeter at the end. Now we try it back the other way. Okay, so yeah, they move about 1 millimeter if you pull it as hard as you can. That's how tight it is. So that's a non-issue, like Chris at Armattan said. It's a non-issue. Other than that, it's solid. The arms are super thick. Let's check it out. Pretty sure this is a 5-inch frame, isn't it? It's 4 millimeters thick. Let's see, 150. It's like 210, 220, something like that. $230. It's 230 millimeter. I'm pretty sure it just runs 5-inch props. Let me grab one though. What do we got here? Yeah, it's 5-inch. It's funny when you don't even know what size the frame is you're building. These props are crazy. Damn. Those are some crazy props. But yeah, that's perfect. Might even be able to do 5.5. Looks like there probably won't be any props in view, possibly in the very far corners on the sides, maybe. What else is there to say about it? It's just a well-made frame. Obviously, Armattan makes it. And everything fits nicely. You could definitely do 2-stack and use a 4-in-1. You can see, I mean, even this top plate, it just slides into place so perfectly. It actually snaps in. See, look at that. Snaps into place right there. Just perfect tolerances. But look how much room you got. If you were to use some long M3 screws and some M3 O-rings, you'd be able to get a 3-stack in there. You could probably do a 4-in-1 and a split or something. But just look how much room there is. I mean, the FC is pretty much in the middle there. If I were to lower that down, and this is just sitting up there, it's not even down yet, so tons and tons of space. Actually, let's check. It's either 20 or 25, I'm sure. Yeah, 22. You got 22 millimeters of space. That's plenty of room. So there it is, the Armattan Rooster. I never had a chameleon, so I don't know how this compares to it. They look pretty much the same, but I'm sure this is probably a lot different in many ways. But man, it is a beautiful frame. Alright, any questions or comments, leave them below. And thanks for watching.